If we don't have Dave and Mark, it's just gonna be Jeff and Melinda.
Right?
Just the three of us.
Right, right.
I thought maybe there were other people coming.
Doesn't seem so. My guess is that Mark may have forgotten it was moved.
Might be here at 4 o'clock.
Might be. I'll check my phone's upstairs charging, so I'll check when I get back, see if he texted.
You left your phone?
Yeah, my work, it was dead. I didn't realize how dead it was, and it literally died as I was about to come down here, so.
I didn't think I was so addicted to my phone when it died during the week.
Yeah, the whole world seems to collapse when your phone dies, right?
And I finally had to stop myself and say, you know, it's not that big of a deal.
Wasn't that long ago we didn't need them.
Exactly. I'm driving a school bus truck and the kids in 4th grade have cell phones, you know. That's the great thing about the phone phones. They got customers for life.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta have one when you're in 4th grade.
It's a necessity now.
Yeah.
My
I'm
kid-
just get me up to speed on something. Are we naming any of the 6th Street renovations that are happening? Wasn't that gonna be like our first?
It was, but we've backed off of 6th Street for now. I mean, we'll be having those conversations in this year, but it'll be the footprint will probably be different, smaller. But we'll be having those conversations in the near future.
Well, I mean, because they were all excited about it. They thought it was great.
Parts of 6th Street were excited about it.
Well, I meant the development that's occurring with all of the Hagen buildings.
Yeah. I mean, there are groups that are excited about it, but there was some pushback on creating a district. So we are going to slow down a little bit on that, have the
Well,
meetings.
who were the pushback people?
Certain members of the public.
Okay, but do they live on
Owners-
6th Street?
Owners that own 6th Street.
Quite frankly, it's also okay for us to create a district with those
Yeah.
who are interested in being
Right.
part of a district.
Yeah, all right, so I want to make sure that we're creating something that is supported as much as possible, that we're not pushing things on people, and we're going to create as many opportunities as we can for anybody to have a voice, and whether they want to see this, whether they want to support it, whether they don't want to. So I'd rather take things a little slower and build something that is supported as opposed to something that is
Well,
not.
you're saying that we could make the district, the first district, just be those buildings that are.
Yeah, so Chris and I had talked about potentially mapping out a district that would include specifically those who want to be part of it,
Right.
right?
Right.
So we clearly have residents in Garden Court who have expressed
Right,
you know,
they're not interested.
Not interested.
Right.
And not just Garden Court, there are also individual residences throughout that West 6th Street corridor that would prefer to remain outside of the district.
Okay,
So we
well,
talked
that's
about
fine.
potentially crafting a district. It could be small. It could potentially include only a handful of properties.
Well, that'd be all right, but I
yeah.
think we ought to get on that, because, I mean, that's
We
obviously.
are. We
yeah.
haven't left it behind, but we're also not going to push it very fast either.
Well, why not?
When you do things fast, you're going to create backlash that.
All right, well, I
Yeah,
don't
I
want
don't
it to
want
be
that.
reckless or
No.
whatever,
No,
but,
it's just going to be a cautious approach. It's going to be a
but I think
methodical
we
approach.
need to start having some districts.
Oh, we will. At February 15th, we'll have the very first historic landmark in the city of Erie.
Which one?
PACA.
PACA.
Yeah,
PACA's gonna be the
PACA,
first.
right, but we need more than one building.
Oh, of course, and we'll get to that. I mean, it's coming. I mean, we just had a meeting Friday about State Street. We're going to continue talking about State Street.
Uh-huh.
We're probably going to have talks about Federal Hill before too long, 6th Street, West 21st Street, and there's a multitude of other places that we're going to be talking about.
Well, can we designate now that we would like to start this I think that's an excellent plan. The people that are on board to allow theirs to be,
I think that was part of the next step, was to actually look at a map.
Yeah.
And see what that
okay,
might
well, I
potentially
think
look
that's
like.
great.
Do we, I did text Mark and Dave, and I haven't received any text back, but just to be respectful of those who are here, we can just go ahead.
Do we need to have them start today?
He's okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they've got it. Yeah, we're good.
Okay. So we'll call the meeting to order then at 1:06 PM, and we'll start with our roll call. Craig Pepper?
I'm here.
Mhm. Dave Brennan is absent. Mark Tannenbaum is absent. I'm here. Jeff?
I'm here.
Our ex officio members, Jason Wazorek is absent. And Chris, you are here.
I am here.
Okay, excellent. So the next item on the agenda is to give time for those who may have come, members of the public who may have wanted to speak. Are you just here to listen, or do you want to say anything? You're just here to listen. Okay, very good. Seeing and hearing no one else, we're going to move on from the public comment period then to the review and approval of the minutes from our January 9th meeting.
Do we need the name of this gentleman who was attending?
Mm-mm.
No.
Okay.
And so I will make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Okay. I'll make a second.
So Melinda motions, Jeff seconds. All in favor, please signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we have the minutes approved. Then we jump into basically an update on all of the things that are in process at the moment. So we start with an update on where we're at with the historic preservation plan.
Yes, so the plan right now is still underway. Right now, they are they're developing the state of the city report on historic preservation, which should be coming really about any time. We also have.
So you said what? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you said. You said at what time?
It should be coming anytime. State of the
Anytime, okay.
Yes, state of the city report should be coming at any time.
Soon to be completed.
Yes.
Okay.
We also have the online workshop, which is now on the website, the preservation plan website, eriepreservationplan.com. So that is getting a little bit of feedback so far. We're going to be promoting that more and more on social media over the next couple weeks. We'll probably re-announce it a couple times.
So you said that that is live.
Yeah, it is live.
The survey is live.
It is live, yes. After that, once that community workshop, online community workshop is completed and they've gotten feedback, we'll have the state of the city report, and then they should be coming for another community workshop after that.
Okay, so the results of the workshop are going to be, that data will
That'll be used in
be
developing
used
the plan.
for our state of the,
That'll be used for developing the plan. Right now, they're developing a state of the city
Okay.
report based upon their observations of our program and other things happening in the city.
all right, thank you.
Would you like me to keep going on the other projects, or you want to?
No.
Okay.
We don't have a tentative date, right? Or not tentative date, but month for the next public.
No, not right now.
Okay.
I suspect that once that state of the city report comes out, that'll be the next agenda item we talk about is
Okay.
developing that date.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
who's doing the state of the city, the mayor?
The Lakota group.
Huh?
The Lakota group is putting together a state of the city report.
Our consultants
Yes.
are creating a state of the city report, okay.
Go ahead.
And that's all I have on the preservation plan update so far. If we have any other questions about it.
Okay.
ARP funding. The plan is in place, though the applications are live on the Redevelopment Authority website. We are going to be participating this Thursday, the 9th, in a press conference, from the mayor's press conference, to roll out the Historic Building Improvement Grant Project. So we'll be introducing it, making it, it is public, it's live now, we can take applications, but this will be the press release for this grant program. So we'll be doing that in conjunction with,
Okay, so the first
The
thing to
Redevelopment
roll
Authority.
out is the public grants
yes,
Okay.
that is what we're rolling out on Thursday, yes.
on this coming Thursday?
Mhm.
Okay, so that is what day of the week is
9th.
that? I mean, what number of the week?
Thursday,
I know, but what date, what's the date?
February 9th.
Okay, Thursday, February 9th. So this presentation is going to be on the website?
No, on the website is the application for the grant.
Okay, applications are on the
Thursday
website.
is the mayor's
Okay.
press conference, where we'll be announcing the grant program.
And the
Press
application's on
conference.
the Redevelopment.
It is on the
Authority.
Redevelopment Authority website. We'll also provide that link on
Okay.
our social media. And I'll see if we can't get it also on our webpage, which is really a pain in the butt to get to anyway. I hope, the city's developing a new website, and I hope that it's a little more user-friendly.
So I see
than what
they-
it is
they
now.
hired a communications specialist. Is that gonna be part of his
Uh,
task to maintain the website?
I don't know whose task it is. I know they're developing a new website that is supposed to be a little more user-friendly, I hope, because we're buried underneath a lot of things. But anyway, that application, it will be available on the Redevelopment Authority website.
So is the website where people get the applications on the
Yes.
Redevelopment
Yes,
Authority's
Redevelopment
website?
Authority website, yes.
Okay, the Redevelopment Authority. Okay.
So hopefully, I don't know that we'll have any applications before our next meeting or not, but as we receive the applications, we'll schedule them. They'll be on the agenda for the following meeting.
So I had a question about the grants, and I just thought of this. Is it, you say I'm a landowner or a landlord, is it by individual, the $15,000, or is it by property? In other words, if I own 6 properties,
I believe the guidelines are by property.
okay.
That makes sense, because if somebody owns multiple properties and they're historic, we'd want them to fix them, right?
Right,
Yeah,
think so.
right,
I
yeah.
can't remember, I don't remember if that was.
I had never thought of that
And,
either.
Guidelines are by
Yeah.
the guidelines, right? I don't remember that.
I can't recall, but I'm happy to take a look at them
Yeah,
after today.
I was looking at them this morning. I didn't look at that specifically, but we mentioned, we talked a lot about property in those guidelines as opposed to ownership.
So it's by edifice, not by ownership?
I believe so.
Okay. Okay.
That makes the most sense.
I think it does. I mean, and that's kind of how we've approached it with people who have been curious about the grant program. People
Okay.
who have owned multiple properties have approached it that way, so I think that's how we'll approach it. I say that with almost certain confidence. But yes, we're very excited to have that finally announced and in the public and ready to go.
And then our last item,
Last item, City Council conducted a public meeting on the 1st during their council meeting to hear comments on the designation of the Meyer Buildings, or PACA, to be the city's first locally designated historic landmark. The follow-up meeting where the vote will be held is on the 15th, so a week from Wednesday. That vote will be held, and then once that is concluded, assuming that City Council approves, then we'll work with the mayor's office to do a press statement and do a media event to kind of cover our city's first locally designated historic site.
I couldn't be at the meeting. How many people showed up to speak?
Okay, so
Nice.
PACA is the first building to be a local designated historic district,
Landmark,
or landmark, okay.
since it's an individual listing, or individual designation.
So it's not a district, it's a specific building, okay. Okay, so it is our first,
It is
correct?
first, yes.
All right, all right. Okay,
And this,
and
this-
that is going to occur with what fanfare on February
well, it won't
fifteenth?
be
You said
fanfare on
February
February
15th?
15th. It'll just be the city council vote on
Oh,
February 15th.
okay, so the city council vote is the 15th.
Yes, and then
Okay.
we'll work with the mayor's office, assuming that it's approved. We'll work with the mayor's office to.
City council votes on it,
Yes,
on that day?
yes.
Okay. On the 15th, okay,
Yeah.
very good.
So how was the attendance?
It was myself and Melinda and Mark spoke. And then there was a couple members of the public who came and also spoke in support of it. We seemed to have good support, at least from Councilwoman Flores, really seemed to support the designation. She was the most vocal, I think, and I think there seemed to be some support from other members of the city council, so I don't see any issue why it wouldn't be approved.
Handful of questions were asked.
Yeah,
But
good questions.
Those were good questions, yeah.
Good questions. And this whole process kind of helped us set that precedent for how this process is supposed to work. Like, we didn't understand that the city council had to hold a public meeting of their own.
Mm.
So now we know that that's
Okay.
part of the process as
Mhm.
well. And we may have to look at changing our bylaws and rules of procedures just a little bit to amend that process. I don't know that we officially need to do that once once HRC's approved it, but it may help to outline that process a little more in our rules of procedure, because I wasn't aware of that needing to happen until it had to happen. So,
What were the questions?
So there were questions about, would this designation prevent Mark from moving forward with his rooftop garden space and/or solar panels? So what's looked at when the property owner proposes changes, as you know, is street facing. So unless what's going on the roof is going to be visible from the street, it wouldn't necessarily fall into our purview to review.
right.
Now, it's a historic building, right? So if they're gonna put solar panels in a garden on a roof of a historic building, they'll have to do some structural assessment to determine if it can manage the load, so that was a question.
Little clarification needed on that we're not reviewing interior projects. We're just focusing on facades and elevations that are viewable from the public right away.
Okay.
Okay, very good.
So what feels really great from my perspective is that if council votes to change the zoning and locally designate PACA as a historic landmark, that will allow us to satisfy the requirements of our certified local
Yes.
government, basically application process.
Right.
So the city has actually been benefiting from the programs and funding available through the certified local government program, but this is really our last immediate hurdle.
Right.
I mean, every year we need to be doing technical training, technical assistance, right? We need to be kind of doing the job of the Historic Review Commission
Yeah.
and the Historic Preservation Planner, but to meet the criteria or requirements of that certified local government designation, this is the very last
Last
hurdle.
Part of it,
Mhm.
okay, cool.
You're gonna have one locally designated district built with something. right?
Something.
To meet that.
Yes,
Something.
a
And-
landmark, a district, yes.
And the hope is that, especially before the end of the year, we'll have a few more that are on the books. I think especially with State Street, I think there's gonna be a lot of support for State Street District.
So what did come out of this, as Chris mentioned, this is kind of the PACA building provided a learning opportunity. I don't know if we'll do this every time, but it was actually suggested through zoning and or the planning commission that we consider kind of putting nominations forth as a group.
Lumping them.
So rather than having single nominations come through one at a time and having to go through the planning commission, then city council, and the public hearing for city council, and then the city council vote, rather doing that kind of one at a time as we have nominations come in that we consider
Do them as a
kind of
group.
compiling
Okay.
them and getting a good group
Yeah.
of individual nominations
Okay.
and or districts and having them put forth at one time.
Especially as we start moving ahead.
So is this technically new business, what you're just saying?
It's still under the discussion of the mayor building designation.
Okay. Where does it talk about the mayor building's up
On the
here?
agenda.
Well, I know that, but it's up here. I thought we were in here. I thought we were down to this.
Here's the agenda. So we've got, yeah. These three items I think you're looking at the minutes from the last meeting.
Okay, so the update on the mayor building is where we are now. Okay,
This
that's
is-
fine. No, that's all right. Got it. Okay.
So I will insert into the agenda, just quickly mention that, the Keystone Historic Preservation Planning and Construction Grant deadline is coming up. It is March 1st.
Yes.
And so, Chris is currently kind of considering current projects that would align with that grant program, as well as the annual Certified Local Government Grant Program. Their deadline is going to be coming up soon as well. And so those are both funding opportunities available through the State Historic Preservation Office that we should be thinking about.
Yeah,
And
and
he is thinking about.
Yeah, right, and we've definitely talked about using that Keystone grant again, to apply for that, to kind of continue the funding for the survey project.
What, with PHMC?
Yes,
Mhm.
Keystone Historic
Mhm.
Preservation Grant.
Mhm.
And, because we'll need additional funding, we still haven't heard anything about the CLG grant from 2022. I guess the office is quite a bit behind on doing all that. We were supposed to be awarded, or hear about being awarded back in May or June. So we're several months past that. That being said, I hope to have an RFP put together for the survey project by our next meeting. We should absolutely have that available to review, if not sooner.
An
Work on that this
RFP
week.
for
To
we
do
are
the
submitting
survey.
an RFP to the Keystone.
Conduct a
Okay.
survey, yes, conduct a
Okay.
citywide
Okay.
survey.
Okay.
And this will be a multi-year project. With the CLG grant, I think we briefly talked about doing guidelines, design guidelines. That is the number one issue when especially in residential districts. That is the number one issue that we hear about, is what are the design guidelines and how are you going to review? What guidelines are you going to use? So I think doing guidelines, especially for residential districts, is going to be very important to us.
But back to what Melissa was saying, about grouping things. Are we gonna say that we're gonna have these like once a quarter, or every, like, are we gonna sit on them and then present them
It
as a
depends on how
group?
many we have.
Right.
With what frequency, I guess,
It
is what
depends
I
on
was
how many
asking.
we have. If we have a large number of them, then we'll do them as a group. If we just have one every couple months, then there's no
Uh-huh.
reason to wait.
Mhm.
It just depends on how many we have.
Okay.
So, Chris, I did reach out to a couple of consultants that I'm still waiting to hear back from about what they think a citywide survey would cost.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know.
I did do that.
Yeah, we initially wanted to do this in 1 or 2 years, but I think it's going to extend beyond that. Especially if the SHPO office has continuing problems getting these grant awards out, then I think it's just going to have to be a multi-year project. And that's okay, as long as it's getting done, that's what matters most, so.
Okay, so are we done now with the agenda?
Yes, unless there's anything else that anyone would
Well,
like to bring up.
I would like to suggest that we have more of these outreach to, you know, inform people about, you know, what we're doing. And I would just like to suggest that everybody come up with some, you know, potential venues and ideas, and, you know, that maybe we could even have a committee that deals with that, you know, trying constantly, maybe every month, to present to a group of people, you know, what we're doing. Because I think that's really important, because
Oh,
I
yeah.
think we're
And
kept
we are
big
absolute-
secret at this point.
Yeah, we're absolutely working on that. We will have several meetings this year, especially as the seasons change a little bit. We're gonna have multiple meetings. That's in the works right now.
I think we could help take the load off you by doing some of that ourselves. That, on the
Sure.
thing on
Sure.
communication, the fact that they hired that communications officer for the city, or person, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
He's got a connection to the newspaper, because, you know, like we never got any coverage in the newspaper about the workshops and stuff.
Right,
It was on TV,
right.
but that was kind of,
No, not the newspaper. The only newspaper that's really reached out to us so far is Erie Reader.
yeah. So-
We have a presence there, but we don't necessarily with the other.
Yeah, I agree with you, Fred. We, once a month, at least something.
Yeah, like, we
some
should
message
make
out.
that our goal, that every month we have some sort of a forum where people can learn about what we're doing.
Every time I talk to somebody about, especially about the grants, it's, what is it, the Historic Review Commission's like,
So the-
we haven't done a good job of
You don't-
publicizing it.
Right.
The only thing I want to throw out there is that we really don't have a budget, so we have to make sure that we do these things at low cost or no cost.
Well,
Because
I don't
really
think
have
that
a
was,
budget to-
would be a
to
problem.
rent a venue or anything. But yes, we're working with neighborhood groups and other groups. We'll be waiting on some times and schedules for the library. Wanted to host the poster boards that were created for the workshops. They wanted to do an exhibit on that. We're waiting on a time and schedule for that. And there are some other groups that were also interested in doing. I think the realtors
Yeah,
wanted to do
the
something similar
big
with
public
that.
library on the bay is
Yeah.
interested in,
Mhm.
what, sponsoring a
County
forum or
library.
something?
So for the last series of public meetings that we had for the citywide historic preservation plan, the
Right.
consultants had created information boards,
Yeah, no, I
right?
was there.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what the public library, well, I'm just explaining. Okay.
I know what you're talking about. Those nice
So-
storyboards
right,
were
so the
great.
public
And
library
I
is-
said we should put these out every time we have an event. So if we have one at the library, it'll be there, right?
So the public library is looking at displaying them as part,
Oh,
as an
to have
as
them
an
on
exhibit.
display as a, wow, that's great. That's great.
They're gonna leave them up like permanently, or
It'll
Well,
be
for a
like a
short period of
for a certain amount of time.
okay.
But we can borrow them when we're doing an event. We can.
They're in my office.
No, I meant from the, from the public library.
I mean, well, if they're set up at the library, they'll be staying at the library until that exhibit's done.
Okay,
And then we'll use them in other events. It would not be feasible to take them down and then put them back up again.
So my only suggestion is to not use the one board, and you know what board it is.
The one with the nomination errors,
The one with all the address errors,
That's what I'm talking about,
the
yeah.
titles of the historic buildings, yeah.
yeah, that one's segregated
Okay.
from the other.
It's got some pretty glaring errors.
well, why don't we fix it, too? Shouldn't that be a priority to fix
No,
it?
it's not really a
It's-
board that's necessary.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's-
okay, we
it's
can
yeah.
just live without it?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yeah, it's not necessary.
Okay.
Is the library doing the history thing again? Is there-
Mhm.
I haven't heard.
Yes, June 5th through 10th.
Okay.
Hopefully somebody will reach out about that. Or I'll reach out to
I'll
them.
send you an email.
Please do.
Who's it, June?
Who from the library is operating that, or,
Their new digital librarian.
okay,
You said June 5th through the 10th.
right before my
Yes.
birthday.
We can lock that in.
We acknowledge Mark is now present.
I thought he might be reporting.
Yes,
Mark,
Mark is here.
Anything you'd like to say about the PACA? We've already talked about it.
It seemed to go very well.
Yeah.
I got no negative that I saw. I think Mo Troop was, I mean, I think everything was well done.
Yeah.
My gut feeling is it's going to pass.
It shouldn't be a problem at all.
I don't think it's going to be a problem.
And as I mentioned, once it's approved, assuming it's approved, we'll work with the mayor's office to do a media event.
All right.
Because especially since it's the first, we'll work to do a media event, hopefully at PACA.
And if there's a check transfer or something, because I do have to pay a deposit on the doors
Okay.
to get it into their hopper of like what, because they're already 6 months behind, so they can't even start them
Yeah.
for a period of time, and they need to be paid.
The
Like a
applications are live now.
Okay.
They're on the Redevelopment Authority website.
So after it gets, after it gets approved by city council, then I have to fill out another form?
You can fill it out now. You'll have to fill out the application for the grant,
Well,
yes.
I was gonna say, I think what Chris is talking about is the rehabilitation grant program that's available for historic properties. So that application is now open. The public announcement has not yet been made.
Okay.
Public announcement will be made on Thursday.
Thursday.
So it's a rehabilitation grant,
Yeah.
Yes.
I think
and
it's
it's on our website?
On the Redevelopment Authority website. And it's Historic Building Improvement Grant is what they've listed it under.
Historic improvement,
Yeah, Historic Building Improvement Grant.
But so as far as the nomination of PACA
yes.
for local landmark designation, that will be voted on by council on the 15th, at their February 15th meeting.
It does,
And-
is that also at 9:30 in the morning?
I believe so. I'll double check that. That might be the evening one.
And will it require 2 readings and 2 votes?
I think my thought it would be not, because we had the first reading.
Right.
That's what this is. Next time is the vote.
Yeah,
Okay.
from the city clerk, it was, they had to do a public hearing, which was the
Okay.
first, and then the following meeting, they would hold the vote. Yeah,
Very good.
yeah.
I'm very
So
excited.
You won't need to submit anything else,
No.
although you should probably attend the
Yes.
February 15th meeting,
Yeah.
whatever time it may be.
And
Morning.
I'll, and I,
I'll
and I
double
need,
check
and I should
and-
fill out the grant.
I'll double check and get back.
Well, the grant is completely separate.
Right, that's what I wanted to make sure,
Right
yes.
there, anybody's eligible for the grant now.
Oh.
There's only like 4 things on the redevelopment, website, right?
Yeah.
I think there's lead abatement, and there's 2 other ones, which would be very obvious, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the
Yeah,
Facebook.
that application is separate from the designation.
Really?
Yes.
So we could get 2 grants? Is that what I'm hearing?
No,
No.
only one. Only one.
Okay,
You don't have to be a locally designated landmark
to get the grant.
to get the grant. You just have to be a building that is approved by the review commission.
Okay.
So yeah, but that, you can fill out that application anytime. It's live and ready to go.
Okay. Good.
And there's no match requirement.
Oh,
Okay.
that's good.
But it goes up to 15,000?
Yes.
Okay. Because the
And they-
doors are more than that.
And
Yeah.
they will probably go quickly. I would anticipate there are a lot of,
We've got some interest.
yeah.
Yeah.
Got some interest.
Are there any other items to discuss, or are we ready for adjournment? We'll entertain a motion from someone to adjourn then.
I move we adjourn.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Jeff. All in favor, please signify by aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, very good.
All
Okay.
righty.
Mark, do you have all of the papers from?